guys, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here. We are back for another one of our Patreon our Patreon campaign, The Rise. This is our Monty Cook Cypher system game. This is Gods of the Fall, and this is episode 48, The Mother's Call. 48 episodes, once a month. That is several years of time. That's a lot of time. Yeah, daddy issues into The Mother's Call. What a episode.
I don't like that title.
What a crazy.
I don't like that title at all.
What could that mean? So many things, so many wild, things we have here. Yeah. This, as Chris has said in the chat, this is a Mina-free zone. We are just trading players out. We're swapping them. So obviously we see that Mina is not here, Norm's not here today, but we'll still play on. And if you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is like these fine folks over on our Patreon. Link in the description down below. Join us over on there. While you're down there, click on that link. Join us on the Discord. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, I do horrible things. And two, all that money goes back into this channel for all kinds of things like new art and helping me hire artists to draw cool art for the things that I'm working on publishing, which I just did. I just published something over on DriveThruRPG. You can go check it out. It's for our Glenbrook setting, which we have played a campaign and what my players are calling a campaign here on the channel. One is called Glenbrook Unhallowed. The other is called Glenbrook Chronicles. It is a mystery landscape including 4 different mysteries, plot hooks, NPCs for each one of them, and narratives for 4 mysteries involving the eponymous Mr. Black, our lovely, creepy, weird guy who's been haunting our players across several campaigns. Fun guy, just all around good time. Outstanding. That being said, and without further ado, previously on The Rise, Corax, Seydlitz, and Antares each experienced deeply personal dream visions, with Corax speaking to Telbin, Seydlitz confronting the King of Nod, and Antares navigating a surreal hedge maze. Meanwhile, Mina watched his unconscious allies in the Second Deep, witnessing eerie fungal reflections of their dreams before encountering sentient, mushroom-like beings. The godlings were taken to the Lumavane village, a bioluminescent haven nestled within the fungal throne, where they were given shelter and time to recover. When last we saw all of you, there was some pacing, some uncertainty, some settling down, some chronicling, and all around, recovering one's faculties after the strange dreams they had. I believe Antares was beginning to journal. There was some people setting up for sleep for the night, or what they presumed to be the night, after falling unconscious due to horrible mushroom spores. Either way, the 4 of you are nestled into the gardens of the Lumavane village, and you see that the village is quiet. You see that there are still these mushroom people, these myconids, moving around their day-to-day lives. Some of them are in homes. There are there's a whole village. There are buildings, and there's this central sort of area around a little bit of a lake that you guys had seen previously. But all of you are sort of settled in for rest and relaxation and recovery on your thus far harrowing journey. In pretty short order, you ran from a giant snake, fell into a chasm, or if G prefers, a crevasse, a deep crevasse. Several of you had broken bones, and then you were traumatized by a slime that tried to eat you, and horrible dreams in which you were haunted by your past.
And
you forget the
spores in our
dinosaurs.
lungs.
Oh, right. And previous to the giant serpent you were running from, you also had been running from giant dinosaurs. So this is the most physical activity I think Corax has seen. There's no end to that. That's it. Has seen ever in his life. It has only been like 2 days since entering here, and it has been a nonstop shit fest of fighting dinosaurs and running and falling and dying and nightmares. So this is the first bit of like reprieve any of you have gotten since entering the deeps.
Well,
So
that
what
bout of
are
unconsciousness he had should have made him nice and rested.
Yeah, he fully recovered, minus the broken
Yeah,
arm.
yeah.
Yeah. So what are the group of you doing here in the Lumavane village?
Last time you mentioned the all the myconid little creature guys were like holding hands and like singing or humming or something like that.
Yeah, they do. Your best guess was that it was some kind of like a rich, not like a ritual being conducted in the way that we use ritual in like D&D terms, but like a
Hmm.
ritual, like a prayer, like a mass,
Like a daily thing.
like a daily thing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, and Terry's was journaling in the little book that Talbin gave her what seems like years ago now. In game. Out of game, yes, it has been years. Uh, and I think she would have eventually have fallen asleep. And I think she's sitting on her spongy moss bed. I think her elbow is like resting on a large mushroom, and she's like her eyes are closed, and the book is just closed in her lap.
Okay. Korax and Seydlitz.
Seydlitz is still trying to figure out this nonsensical map with ever increasing levels of frustration.
Oh yeah.
That's fair. That's very fair. And Korax?
Korax doesn't want to be here. Korax wants to be only moving. He doesn't want to stop. But I think with everything that's gone on, the fact that he's in a space that has soft, comfortable sleeping space, he probably just passes out.
Okay. Two of you pass out. We'll say three of you. We'll say Seydlitz, not Seydlitz. Mina didn't get to nap while he watched over your bodies and prevented you from being consumed by sentient moss. So he does absolutely, in much the same vein as Korax, he wants to press on, but realizes that exhaustion is a thing, and he is slowly coming to terms with exhaustion. And he sort of sits down, and I think in the same way as Antares, he sits down and like leans up against a large like barky stalk of a mushroom, with the intent to just rest, and quickly finds himself asleep. Leaving Seydlitz to ponder the map for a while, which we already rolled on, and it was terrible. So leaving you to ponder the map until until frustration takes over, and either you chill and rest, or you actually sleep. Either way, you will notice that your companions have drifted off to dreams. For those of you concerned with the land of dreams and the powers that may or may not control them, you'll be happy to know that your dreams come swiftly and uninterrupted. Simple dreams of fun and joy and the things that you hope for. Nothing untoward, nothing haunting from your past. They are
Fun
very
and joy.
They are pleasant dreams, sweet dreams, as some might say.
Neutral at best.
Neutral at best. They are dreams. They are all in grayscale. They are fine.
Bill's right.
A passage of hours elapses, and those of you who slept all wake up feeling refreshed. You can mechanically refresh all of your pools. You feel refreshed. You feel well rested. Your bodies feel like you genuinely slept in like a bed almost. Everything feels better. Not that like achy cold that you may feel from camping outside. You feel refreshed. The air here is warm. The surrounding area is soft and comfortable. And despite the working Lumavane people here, they are fairly quiet. They don't really speak much. And they just sort of go about their business like a hive of mushroom people. So one by one, the all of you awake. What are you doing here in this respite?
I think Antares kind of starts awake, like, and looks around and realizes where they are, and she puts her book away, takes a stock of the boys, and she will get up. Uh, and she will head towards Korax.
Okay.
You good?
No. And he like tries to move his arm, but obviously it's been put into
Yeah.
a splint.
She's like, okay, hold on, stop. Now that you're awake, we can do this properly. And she will crouch down next to him and she will start like adjusting the sling because like he's been carried and dropped and or treated with utmost respect while he's been unconscious. So she completely
Loved and cared for, obviously.
Yeah. Hey, she was taking care of him. Yeah. And then she's going to like re-splint and rewrap his sling so he can be a little bit more comfortable. Hold still.
But it hurts. I don't
Yeah.
like pain.
Well, it lets you know you're alive.
Well, it's not always a good thing.
No, it's not, but there's not much I can do about it.
I mean, maybe this bunch have something for the pain.
Maybe. She kind of looks
I don't
around.
really trust
We can
what they
ask
have,
them.
though.
They might have some kind of cute little mushroom that you could eat.
I mean, it might grow in me, and I don't really want to be here. I don't trust mushrooms. If I
Why
still had my
would-
book, I'd show you. They're not great.
Yeah, but they're not all bad either. There's lots of mushrooms in the Nightlands, and they
Yeah.
don't kill you.
Case in point.
Yeah, and they don't kill you. And she
It was the best thing you had.
nods it. Yes, it's the only good thing we had in the Nightlands. You're right. And then she will hold out her hand to his good hand to help him up.
He will take it.
Knock on the
appreciate you.
door.
What?
Knock on the door. Seydlitz would like to step in.
Oh yeah,
You're all,
yeah.
You're all outside.
I think I think
Sorry.
that's just him saying I'd like to interject.
You can knock on the woody mushroom.
Yes.
Well, Seydlitz should just like to check on what Korax is doing. It's like, sorry, tired. Seydlitz just kind of lets out a yawn and just kind of looks to Korax. Is like, honestly, I'm starting to agree with you. This mushroom stuff is getting too weird.
They grow on dead things. Or waste products. That's the other choice for them.
Yes, well, don't
Currently,
tell
we're
them.
alive.
They also grow on overabundantly moisturous areas.
On.
Yeah, everyone loves a
Not
moist
trees.
thing. And
You're
she-
eating those trees.
What?
I'm brushing past that one, Mike.
I don't
Hey,
know
and
if
Terry's
I can.
is supposed to be the funny one, remember?
I don't know if I can. What?
And she will pat his bad his bad arm, like there, he'll be fine.
Hopefully.
Yes, well, I'm sure if Tandri was still here, we could have been out of here by now, but he's not. So, and these things aren't trying to kill us. So let's maybe keep our voices down when we say they grow on dead things and trash and you know what I mean? We don't want to insult them. And maybe they'll help us get out.
I don't
Where's
want to
May
Mina?
have
trust
to
them either.
help them in return.
She
See,
looks,
you know,
Mina's
want
still
things.
sleeping. Hmm?
They're going to want things. See? Even Seydlitz notices that. We got
Okay.
places to go.
Well, we're not gonna start fighting them because that's not gonna get us anywhere, will it?
Korax goes a bit red as he says, I find just leaving is the best way to
Yes,
get away from them.
Where would you
Korax, we
suggest we
don't know
go?
where we're going. They need
Down.
to point us in a direction. Unless, Seydlitz, did you figure it out?
Not even a chance. It's too personalized to even for me to even start to figure it out. He made the map for himself, and no one else can read it.
I mean,
What point is that map?
There is no point.
See,
Unless
Tandri
you
was
think you
useless.
can figure it out. You're the god of knowledge. Maybe you can summon up his knowledge to understand his viewpoint.
I mean, probably not, but and I'm not very good with maps. You might notice we kind of got lost in the pretty early on.
well, you didn't actually have a physical map, right?
No, but I'd seen one.
Yeah. Well, maybe you would have done a little better if you whatever. And she will turn and walk away, and she's gonna look for a little mic and a dude.
I mean, here, I would prefer you just give it a try over than just not doing it at all.
Maybe you can summon the dead knowledge of Tandri.
He huffs a little bit and he goes to find somewhere he can put out the map. He goes, all praise be to Tandri, as he wanders off to go find somewhere to put this down and try and have a look at it.
Yeah.
Outstanding. And Terry's, you said you were looking around for one of the Luma veins.
Is it Luma or Luna?
It's Lum here. It's
Yeah, can you
Lumi
spell it?
vein. Lumi, Lumi vein. Luma vein.
Lumi.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you look around, and I mean they're not hard to find. They're just sort of quietly maneuvering around the village. Not exactly like a human village, right? Not exactly like not even a human, not even like a Sleen or any of the other sentient races you know from the surface, right? Because there is no, and you notice that quickly. There is no need for tools here, so there inherently is no like smith, right? There is no need for food here, so there is no farms. They just seem to be maneuvering around, and you're not entirely sure what they're doing, but they all move like they have purpose. That same slow and steady move. And they do stop and like seem to communicate with each other, except again, everything is like just weird sounds. Most of it is like in your head. So you can see them talking. You can see them visiting that like bowl-shaped structure in the center that's like sort of dripping like the amber liquid. You see like some of them taking some of it in these like mushroom buckets essentially and bringing that places and going other places and carrying things. And they seem to be all working together like a hive, like an ant hive almost. Wordlessly, everyone seems to know their role, but they're all over the village. It's not like crowded here, but they're very easy to spot. Are you trying to find anyone in particular? They all sort of look enough the same that it's difficult to tell them apart. But
yeah, maybe she's gonna try and find one who's maybe walking from point A to point B, not like no one who's physically doing an obvious task. And she's just gonna, because they're short, right? They're a couple feet tall, or
yeah. I mean, they range, but yeah.
Yeah, so she's just gonna like kind of like when you're in a store and you're trying to get an associate's attention, you're like, "Hi, like, do you work here?" She's gonna like kind of just trot over and be like, "Excuse me, little Mr. They them, hi."
You see it stop, and it like turns and looks up at you, and its like beady little eyes are looking at you.
And she smiles as pleasantly as she can, and she will get down on one knee so she is like at their level, and just hi, good day. I'm just wondering if you could possibly help us find our path.
Go ahead and roll me a difficulty 4 intelligence.
No. Difficulty 4.
This is like a perception.
Oh, perception. I can sense ambush.
I don't
I'll
feel
take
we're
that.
getting it.
Seriously?
Oh,
Fuck. God damn it. I was being facetious. Okay, I'll spend effort, I guess. No, I'm not gonna spend effort. One asset. Success!
You kind of squat down and take a knee and begin talking to this this Lumavane, and as you do so, you can't help but notice that there is a certain stillness to the air that has happened in the 2 seconds it took you to kneel down. And while still kind of looking at this Lumavane, you can kind of like glance around and use your periphery, and every single Lumavane that you can see in eyesight has stopped and is facing you.
Hi, I'm Antares.
The elders will see you now. Collect your friends.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. And she's going she's going to reach into her pocket and she's going to pull out a because she doesn't really have anything. She wants to give them like a little gift.
Oh.
And so but she doesn't really have anything with her, so she's going to pull out a star.
Okay.
Star coin.
Yeah.
And she's going to say thank you, and she's going to hold it out for him or them.
You watch as it takes it from you, and there's a second where like you're not sure what like they don't really have like a lot of like facial features, so it's not like it's like scrutinizing what you gave it, but you do see it tilt down towards this thing, and you see it sort of like almost like do that thing where you like almost weigh something in your hand, and then it drops it to the ground, like it just flips its hand over and drops it to the ground, and then you watch as the moss sort of like ripples where it lands. And almost like a people mover in the airport, you just see it begin to slowly shuffle the coin, and it shuffles it towards the orange water, like that amber water that's coming off the center thing, and you see it like bloop into there, and then seconds later you see a bubble, a thick like viscous bubble rise, and your coin is suspended in that as it floats upward and bloops into the bowl at the top of that like big giant mushroom stalk in the center of the village. You have no idea what that means, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
You don't know if that's like a declaration of war, if your gift was accepted, like
yeah, they're like, oh, this is cheap. This is just a star. Okay.
this is trash.
Yeah,
Surface people. Ugh.
yeah. And then I think she's like, well, she's thinking to herself, she's like, man, I hope that was a good thing. And she will and say, I will collect my friends. And then she will pull out a moon and like flick it and have it land where the other one landed, and see if it does the same thing.
It watches it land, and then you see that it turns back to you and then just continues the direction it was going before you interrupted it.
Okay, and she will turn and head back to the group.
Yeah, so you head back to the group. While you were off there doing that, Corax, you wanted to do something. What are you trying to do?
He was going to have a look at the map, but I don't think Antares has been away long enough for him to...
I'll say, like,
sort it out.
She looked around and talked to a guy. You have enough time to, like, lay the map out. What are you trying to do with the map, other than just, like, look at it?
He wants to see if he can figure out from it where they are in relation to this map. Is there something that, to him, stands out that this is Gross Mushroom Village?
There's only like one depiction of a cave on this map, and I believe it's marked with like danger or a skull, or some sort of indication of not good. So either this is not that cave, and therefore this guy Tandri has not found this cave, or this is that cave, and you are all in grave danger.
Corax believes the latter.
It's clearly one of those two things.
And we haven't seen
Yes.
like so the forest that we walked through. There's nothing that would indicate the forest other than it's the second deep and it's all forest.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Can maybe Seydlitz help him in the sense that he could tell him what direction we came from, possibly? It's like we walked in like northeast and we arrived here type shit. Since he's a navigator.
Yes. In a very roundabout way, right?
Mhm.
Imagine like this map is when you're in a hotel and on the back of the inside of a hotel door it tells you the fire escape plan, but that fire escape plan map is completely irrelevant to anyone who doesn't know what the building looks like. That's kind of what the map you have here is. So there are landmarks that Tangerine knew what the landmarks were and then knew directions from that landmark. So it's like from this landmark, go northeast. So you vaguely know what the cardinal directions are on the map, but if you didn't find his specific landmark, and that the maps are drawn that way in a way that if he has found a special cache of artifacts or a special place like a village that was helpful to him, and another like spelunker, another salvage team found his map, it would be useless to them. So they're specifically made to be like proprietary information. Like, this is my map, it's relevant to the things that I know, so that way if anyone finds this, they can't use it to steal the things that I've found. And it's currently doing its job. It's currently working.
Paranoid.
Yeah, they're highly competitive, like corporate. They're corporate
like
Indiana Joneses.
Yeah, like with themselves too. They're like, this is my information.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like a union where everyone sort of works for the greater. It's a guild where they all like. There's a hierarchy, and the more you bring in, the better position you get in there. So yeah, there is a.
Corax did look at other maps.
You did look at other maps. Yes.
Is there anything on this map that would tie into the previous maps that he had seen?
Now, remind me, did you look at maps of as many deeps as possible, or did you look at just the first deep?
He was looking at maps to get specifically to the Steps of the Colossus. That's it. He didn't care about anything else.
Okay, cool. In that case, I will allow you a roll here. I will say this is going to be an intelligence roll. Knowledge, history will help you here.
Finding the details. So trained in finding details in their surroundings to document the world requires good attention to detail. No,
I'll take it.
Not eager to. Oh, you'll take that? Okay.
I'll take that.
Trained in any task that involves learning something new when digging through old books to find lore. Eager to learn.
I will also take that.
Perfect. And nothing else will help unless I use my divine shifts. Knowledge, science, and crafting tasks. Knowledge, I guess. Covers it?
Yeah. It is knowledge.
And you said it was difficulty 4?
Did I say that? I don't believe so. It is difficulty 6. Actually, let me double check.
Difficulty 6.
What did I give Seydlitz? Seydlitz. Difficulty 6. Yes.
Yeah,
Right, so
they
with,
roll the net 1.
With those bits, it's going to take it down to difficulty 1. 1, 2, 3.
Impossible roll.
Mm-hmm.
Net 1.
But we're not going to net 1. Who knows? No efforts.
Yay.
Success.
Okay. With a success, you can determine that the cave on the map is not the cave you are in. So this is a separate cave, unfound by Tangerine. There is another cave that is very dangerous and bad for you to be in. Luckily for you, this is not it. And you are fairly certain that by, like, assigning the most logical thing to, like, his different symbology on the map, you've you're fairly certain you have found his entrance to the third deep. If you're looking at the map into what orientation you think is correct, given that like if a mountain is drawn this way, the bottom part would be the bottom of the map. If you're holding it that orientation, the symbol that you think leads you down is in the top right corner of the map. The problem is you have no idea where you are to orient yourself to that direction. You are fairly certain if you can find another one of his landmarks that you could navigate from there to that, but you have identified what you believe to be his exit, and you have identified that this is not the cave of bad stuff.
Is there something that is big marked on the map? Like a mountain or something other than the deadly cave that is a very clear landmark that someone might have seen?
The deadly cave is the biggest landmark, and you are in a mountain. You are in a cave, so it would hazard that if you pick a direction and follow the path of the mountain, you would eventually reach that cave. So that would be probably the easiest landmark to find.
Okay. He would then just note where he finds the third deep on that. And depending on how long that took for him to do, he would walk back to Seydlitz to show him.
Okay. So I'll say as you're walking back, we'll see Antares is sort of walking up through the village towards you guys, probably looking slightly confused.
Seydlitz, here. This looks to be Tandri's method of getting into the third deep, but I can't figure out where we are. The best you can hope for is that one of the people who want to eat us will know one of these landmarks.
Figures. I said that stuff sarcastically, and you managed to actually pull the knowledge out of your ass, didn't you?
Well, I have seen other maps of the deeps when I was a nod.
Maybe I should stick to hunting instead of map reading.
She walks up. If they wanted to eat us, they would have done it by now.
They're waiting for us to die.
Then what does it matter? Everyone returns to the earth or whatever, cycle
No,
of
you-
life.
Go to Soul Rest and you meet the Rakshasa Queen and then she eats you.
That sounds like a you problem.
If we're becoming
Technically,
gods,
she just eats
we
your soul.
would not die. And Terry's technically, if we're becoming gods, we would not die.
Well, who knows?
Other gods died.
Yeah, the last set of gods died pretty hard.
Anyway, they say their
You know what I
elders
mean.
are ready to meet us. And she looks down at Mina. Maybe we should just let him sleep. And then when he wakes up, we'll have a plan.
Yeah, he's really good at keeping me alive when he's not asleep. So
How's your arm, by the way?
sucks.
We'll ask them
But
about a
it's
pain
still
management program
There's
for you.
probably a pain-relieving mushroom somewhere.
I don't know if
Come
I
on,
trust
let's
it.
go. They're waiting.
Hey, well, if it kills you, it is technically pain-relieving.
Not wrong.
It only hurts for a moment. Or so I've been told. and she starts walking.
Death, the true aspirin.
Yeah.
Ultimate aspirin. Oh, golly. That's amazing. So you attempt to corral your companions and lead them into the village, Antares?
Yeah.
Are you all headed with her?
The plot
Korax
points
doesn't
in
want to
this
leave Mina,
direction.
but he will.
What's that?
Korax doesn't want to leave Mina, but
We can
He
have
doesn't
paper.
trust
We
this one.
can have cardboard Mina come with us. It's totally fine. Hours
would
have
be
passed.
Picks up and carries around cardboard Mina.
Yeah. Hours have passed. So someone scoops up cardboard Mina, tucks him under his arm as he sideways just waves at people.
No, it's just two freaking soldiers from Samora that had made their way down there with cardboard Mina.
It's actually
And we're all just
Tandri.
like,
He's
where
not
the-
actually dead. He's just
Where the
puppeteering
heck did
cardboard
you guys
Mina
come
the whole
from?
time.
Cardboard Tandri.
No, it's in plays, like on stage plays. If things like that have to happen, like a ghost appears, they have the stage crew in all black. Come out and they'll have to like move something. So that's what we see. We just see one guy in head to toe, like black skin tight clothing, just picks up and there's a string that like that Macaulay Culkin's his arm as we see that, because this is now a stage play. This is the stage play version. The sets move. You guys actually just stationary walk and the sets move around you guys.
Jesus Christ.
Someone draw that.
Yeah, we're just
I
we're
would love- I
stationary
would
and everything
love
else is
that.
on a people mover. It's just moving by.
You're on a constant treadmill of you guys just walk and the
Yeah.
backgrounds change behind you.
There we go.
Outstanding.
Oh,
We bring-
God.
yeah.
The three of you and Paper Mina head into the town proper. And as you do, and Terry's you taking the lead back to, I assume, where you kind of were before, you see again that same like slow, almost horror movie-esque turn of the Lumavane sort of turn towards you, and then they all begin to move in your direction. Not exactly advancing on you, but you do see that they form like two rows on either side of your group, and they are sort of like herding you into an area to try to like get you to follow them, as if they are the people movers, as if indicating the direction to go.
She will walk.
Almost like prisoners being sort of marched down. The four of you head towards one of the largest buildings in this area. And again, this building is made up of like overlapping mushrooms, and you see that there's moss and like a string of pearls and these like hanging like glowing lanterns are just sort of ornately decorated around this. And I feel like Korax, you grew up in the temple scene, right? You grew up as an adherent. The temples to the old gods was kind of like a thing you were used to being taught about and researching. And you know, there's a second where you're like, oh no, this is where we go to prison or the dining hall and they consume our flesh, obviously. And there's a second where you cross through this like thick curtain of string of pearls, plants, that you walk through. And you immediately are faced with a temple. You are in a temple. There is no other way to interpret the building you are in. There are like these floating little sconces of like glowing light. You can see that there are like the way that there are overlapping leaves and like portions of like the flora and the mushrooms sort of lets in the light from outside in like almost colors as if it's passing through like autumn leaves. And you see at the back of this there is a row of 5 chairs, one larger than the rest and 2 on either side. The 2 on either side, so the 4, have mushroom people in them, and the central one remains empty. And you see that there is like a discoloration in the center, as if like a walking path were here, as like people like have a procession here all the time. And everything about this speaks to you as this is some sort of temple, and whoever presides over it is not here. What that means, you're not entirely sure, but it's one of those things as growing up in the church kind of thing. There's no mistaking. You know a church when you see a church, right? This is a temple.
There's no indication of a god in particular.
Correct. At least, not that you can indicate. Like from what you've seen thus far, the Lumavanes seem to communicate telepathically. You've seen no real writing or written language or any kind of like hard language. So like there's no sign to a deity. There's no symbology. Everything seems to be communicated through feeling, smell, spore, and telepathy in this area. So no, as far as you can tell with what senses you're used to using, no.
And the Lumavane that were walking with us, have they come inside as well?
No, they have sort of funneled you towards the door, and they have stopped at the flowery door, and have sort of bid you enter.
Once he realizes that the temple, he's going to stop. He takes in the surroundings as you've described, and then he stops and looks back at the Luma vein outside. Are they just standing around, or have they just dispersed again?
Nope. It almost looks like a crashing wave. As you guys enter in, the ones that are in the back, like as if they hit a wall and then it was coming back. The furthest ones out have begun to spread back to their jobs, and it's slowly rippling towards the ones in the beginning. So you watch as like the furthest Luma vein sort of move out back to whatever they were doing before, and that slowly works its way down the line towards the building.
And none of them are sitting there watching us in this building.
Except for the 4 that are inside the building. The 4 that are in the chairs.
He stops as the others potentially move on. I don't know if they carry on walking. And stands behind for a few beats. Confused why none of them are entering, and then slowly turns to join the others.
The only thing you know is what Antares told you, and that was that the elders will see you now. So what context that provides, what that means, you're not really sure. And you're left with no instructions. So you see 2 chairs, a larger chair, 2 more chairs. All 4 of the smaller chairs are sat in by Lumavane. Much larger than the ones you spoke to, Antares. They actually are taller than than you guys. They're probably like 6 feet tall. And you can see that while some of them have just stocky mushroom-esque bodies, these ones are fully anthropomorphized. Arms, legs, not all of them have that. Some of them just sort of toddle on. They're all sat as if used to sitting in chairs. They're leaned off to one side. They're not very rigid. This is their role in society. What do the 3 of you do? Obviously, Korax hangs back a little bit, but Antares and Seydlitz, what are you 2 doing as you enter in this room?
She will just cautiously walk up, and if there's a spot that seems like what people would normally stop to address the council or whatever, she'll stop.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that almost game trail of traveled footpath. There is a point where it stops in front of the seats.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and she will stop and glance back at the others to make sure she's not by herself.
Seydlitz will be next to her, and he'll take off his hat.
You notice that Korax is a few beats behind.
And she would just look at him and kind of
He would walk and stand on the opposite side to Seydlitz.
Okay, so you're both kind of flanking Antares.
No, we're flanking Seydlitz now.
No,
Okay.
Antares.
Yeah, it's Antares.
Okay.
It's
the opposite side
Antares.
of Seydlitz. Oh,
yeah.
I see. Okay, gotcha.
The 3 of you stop in front of this area, and you smell that fresh cut lawn, freshly spread loam, that very earthy smell, forest after rain. And you can all see, hanging in the dim light of this place, there are spores floating around here. And in your minds, you hear, "The throne does not move. The throne does not change. But you, divine ones, you make it move. You make it change." The mother shifts in her slumber, and that has not happened in ages. And this is dangerous. What you have brought here could be an undoing, and you all must leave.
We would very much like to leave. This is a beautiful place, but if you could help us find our way out, we would be very grateful.
We will guide you to a sealed passage.
Ooh.
But be warned, signs and portents have shown us that the Guardian stirs in his slumber.
A mushroom guardian, or
The Guardian of the Throne.
Hmm. Well, it doesn't sound like that's a good thing.
They don't respond.
No, it doesn't.
Guardian.
So, leaving? Yeah, we can do that.
Did you say the guardian stirs on the throne?
No, I said the Guardian stirs. And you asked the Guardian of the Mushroom Guardian, and he said the Guardian of the Throne.
Of the throne.
The
Is
guardian
this
of
the
the
mother's
fungal
throne?
throne.
Are you asking that, Corex, or are you just positing?
He's asking.
The Mother's Throne. Yes.
And you don't want the mother to wake?
The Mother should rest. The Mother is all. The Mother slumbers and speaks. The Mother should not stir.
Is the mother like you?
We are like the Mother.
And where is the mother?
She is all. She is the Creator.
Have beings like us that look like us come past here before? From the surface?
Dwellers above have come down. Beings like you have not.
Hmm.
He nods. Do they know the mother by any other name? The beings from the surface?
The beings above know not of the Mother.
And you would like them to never know of the mother?
Until the Mother wishes to wake. Until the Mother wishes her presence upon the world again. The Mother should be forgotten.
We apologize for the disruption our presence has caused. It was not our intent.
We know.
Now, if you wish for us to leave, then we would request a way shown out, preferably down.
We know. We will escort you. But the Mother should have words with you first. If you are settled.
Korax half bows.
If she so wishes, if that is wise.
All of the mushroom people, the Lumivane that are here, all stand. And you see their full height. And you can see, again, Unlike several of the ones you've seen outside, these ones have more features. Like, they don't have a human feature, but you can absolutely see, like, their eyes are sunken in as if to, like, reveal, like, a socket where their eye is. Their like, face is less like the stalk of a mushroom and more, like, shaped into, like, a face shape. And you can see they have arms. They have arms and legs. They stand, craggly old mushrooms, and in a similar fashion, two of them walk on one side of you and two of them walk on the other side of you, and they begin to walk towards the door, sort of assuming that you will follow.
She'll follow. Is he
Okay.
correct? Aren't you glad you came?
Well, this might be a god. It is to them.
Mm-hmm.
Another god.
But they don't want it documented.
It's better
which
than
sucks.
not.
Well, you know, sometimes knowledge in the wrong hands just leads to destruction.
Yeah, but my hands are great.
Yeah, but you can't control who is going to take that information.
Yeah,
That's the whole point. You're not going to forget, but you can't share it. At least not yet.
the problem is the king of Nod, and he looks up just randomly at the ceiling as they walk. I can't stop things going into his library.
Yeah,
Unless
but
I can get his library.
No, you're not. Let's go. Don't you remember what happened last time? And I don't think
Last time
he
went
cares.
really well.
And I don't think he cares at this point in time.
Oh, he said I can go back whenever I want.
No, I mean, he doesn't care about this place and the mother. Possibly.
That assumes he knows about the mother.
Knowing him,
If it's
he
not written
probably
down.
knows in some way.
I mean, maybe, but his library contains everything that's been written down or dreamed of being written down.
It's
And these people don't
probably
write
what
down
he
shit.
knows.
To this weird vibe in your head.
She just
As
follows
long as
the
I don't write it down, maybe.
Don't write anything down.
Seydlitz
not.
quickly, mockingly pretends like he's writing something down.
You're muted.
The Lumavane leave you out of the temple and down the main thoroughfare of their village towards the Golden Pool. And again, you see this massive like bowl-shaped mushroom and these like long, like almost honey-like drips of this golden amber liquid is bloop, passing down into this pool at the base of this. And the two on either side lead you towards this, and as like the first one of you, so I assume Antares taking the lead here, as the first one of you reaches the edge of the pool, they begin to split off and sort of surround the other sides of the pool, giving you space to sort of line up in the same way that you were in the temple, as if this is where they want you to be. As
Around.
as the three of you and Cardboard Mina all stand around this pool, you watch as the pool seems to like move and swirl, and you can see like the fresh driplets of this golden liquid, this viscous gold liquid, sits brighter on the top, and you can see where like darker, more amber colored rivulets are like mixing in, and there seems to be some level of like movement or churn in here, even though it is a still, like, there's nothing in there that you guys can see. And you watch as it slowly begins to churn, and the golden light sort of emanating from this begins to deepen and darken, and it slowly turns purple. And then you watch as all of the like globules that are falling down also begin to from the top, like from the basin at the top of this mushroom, slowly begin to also turn purple as they bloop into this thing, and everything in this little lake thing turns from gold to a bright glowing purple. Each of you, I need you to roll me a. Let me see here. I believe it is going to be might. It's going to be a might difficulty 6. Sorry, it's going to be a might difficulty 7. Checking my notes here. Might difficulty 7. Skills relating to like physical strength or endurance would apply here.
Mm,
Am I sensing an ambush?
You are not sensing an ambush.
doo-doo-doo.
Is this a defense task, Mike?
I'm running what it is.
How you? So here's what I'll say. You feel something, all of you. Before you roll this, I'll give you more context, and you can tell me. You feel something coming over you. Your breath catches in your throat, almost as if it's stuttering. It's almost harder to breathe, and you feel like not drawn as if to drown into this pool, but you feel drawn towards this as if like something in you is being pulled out of you towards this pool. You feel like almost you are the reciprocal magnet to whatever is in this pool, as if you are being pulled towards this thing. Your breath catches. It's not like you're choking on air, but it definitely like you're struggling to breathe here a little bit, and everything feels heavy, like there is some sort of force working against you. So if you feel that and you would actively resist as if being attacked, then yes, I will say this is defensive. If you were just trying to figure out what the hell's happening or sort of muscle through it, then no.
I'd say Korax hasn't trusted these mushrooms since the beginning,
Okay.
because he's been saying they're going to eat him. And he's got an ability that says you're trained in discerning people's true motives and seeing through lies. Would that have any impact on him seeing this as something that might not be?
I will let you roll that separately. So it will be still a difficulty 7 because what you're seeing is not visible. So it's hard to see through something that you can't see. So it'll be a difficulty 7 virtuous. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me reread your virtuous. Is that what it is, virtuous, or is it
Discerning true motives and seeing through lies?
Gotcha.
Yeah, virtuous.
I'll say yeah, virtuous totally works here. You can roll virtuous. It's still difficulty 7, but you can roll virtuous.
Okay, and that's a separate roll to the defensive.
No, I'll let that be a talent for you. That's a trained, so you can roll that, but count it as might.
I think Terry's would naturally.
Yes.
And Terry's would naturally resist it.
Okay.
Whether she's actively just like thinking about it or not.
So the reason I asked about a defense task is because Korax has one of his abilities, and I can't find out which one it is now, where he can use intellect instead of might or other skills for defense tasks.
That is virtuous. But you are trained in intellect defense, which is different. That's if I attack your mind.
Yeah, but he's got one that says he can use intellect instead of others.
Let's find out. Is it divine fortitude? Nope.
It might be.
It's not Divine Fortitude. It's not Steel Name. Blessing of the Gods. It might be Ward. Nope, that just gives you +1 armor.
Resonance Field, maybe?
I am also not seeing it. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in there, bud.
I'll find it another day. Yeah,
Hmm.
okay. So difficulty 7, discerning true motives, seeing through lies. Bollocks. I don't want to die to mushrooms, Mike.
I don't want to kill you to mushrooms, buddy.
I failed the roll.
Okay. So
Yep, he dies to mushrooms. Rip.
here's what happens. And Terry's, you don't so much resist what's happening as you feel it and go with it. As if you are in like swiftly moving water, working against the current will injure you more than working with the current. And in your line of previous work, you have perhaps seen used, perhaps even been used against you, compulsory magic. And you feel this pull, this gasping for breath, it takes a level of effort to exert yourself. And you realize it's not something's being done to you to injure you. There is some level of compulsion happening to you. And rather than fight it and further injure yourself, you sort of give in to this and let the compulsion happen so you can better understand it. And quickly, Antares, you feel this like difficulty to breathe as you try to gasp in as much air, and you realize if you just stop and let go, the breathing is happening for you. Your heart, there's a pull in your chest as you are forced to move, and if you slow your breathing and regulate yourself and let the breathing happen for you, you realize that it's not being pulled for you, it's that your heart was being beat against its will. And if you let go to it, your heartbeat changes. And you can hear the thump, thump, thump change, and you recognize the sounds of this cave, and your heart now beats in rhythm with the sounds of the cave. Your breath comes in the sounds of the cave. This sound of wind or movement in the cave matches your breathing. And you watch as your companions beside you do not have this realization and continue to struggle, exerting their free will on something that is clearly stripping that from them. And you watch as they choke and gasp and grab at their body that is like the muscles are contorting in their chest and abdomen to try to regulate between what they want to do and what the world is doing for them. As they are manually breathing as opposed to instinctually breathing. So I will say Korax and Seydlitz, you will take 4 points of might damage as you attempt to resist this. Armor does not negate any of this as you are forced. And as you succumb to the pain, the burning in your chest, as if you are trying to breathe underwater, there comes a point where the pressure of all of this just sort of builds, and there's nothing you can do but breathe. And in that moment, you and Terry's, you can watch as spores fill their mouth, and they gasp for breath. And in that gasping for breath, you see them regulate as well. And as though it looks like they may be breathing manually, but their breath, their chest rises and falls at the same speed and rate as yours does. And the 3 of you and Cardboard Mina are all breathing in synchrony. Your hearts beat together as one with the cave. And as you all adjust to this, you hear a voice. The throne is ancient. It was never meant to break. But now, the cracks widen, and what was sealed may not stay buried. The fungal throne
was not for your eyes or your hands. The throne grows, ever on, in all directions. The seal has been broken. What comes will spread. There is something old and restless. They are not like us. They do not listen. They do not walk. They spread.
And you all hear that in your mind.
I think Antares, as she was essentially going with the flow, as it were, I think she was kind of just like standing there with like her eyes closed and maybe like her arms out a little bit, just kind of like as if like you're letting the current, like you're relaxing in the current, not fighting back, so you're flowing with it. So she's like got her hands out and she's like her hands are like relaxed, and then she says, "What can we do?"
You go to say that, and again, the world is breathing for you. The world is moving through you, and you think those words to process that muscle function through your body and out of your mouth. And as you think those words, Korax and Seydlitz, you hear Antares' voice echo through your mind, the same way you heard this voice, as Antares says, "What can we do?" You hear the voice enter your mind again, and it comes soft and serene, like the sound of wind through leaves. And she says,
You believe your gods were the first to rule. You are wrong. Others ruled before them, and not all of them are gone. Here, at the throne, a kingdom fallen, a kingdom sealed, a kingdom reawoken by greed. I wish to slumber. I wish to remain sealed. I wish this for you. Your presence has awoken a great serpent.
Oops.
Your further presence here will only cause untold destruction. You are not enemy, but you are not friend. And in your parting, I offer you gifts of safe passage.
and you feel the voice recede from your mind. And you see the purple glowing liquid around you begin to bubble as if boiling, but only in front of the four of you. And slowly, Antares, you have the only context for this, much like the coin when it formed a globule of bubble and floated upwards. You see the surface break and a large bubble forms in front of all four of you. And just sort of bobs at the surface of this purple glowing lake.
I think that's our way out.
Seydlitz will reach out and touch it.
You reach out and touch it. And you go to like put your hand on it, and your hand passes through this thing, and it feels like it feels like putting your hand in mud, right? So like it's more viscous than water, so you can like put your hand in that. But the bubble the surface tension of the bubble collapses around you as you sink in up to your wrist, and you pull out a flower. You see that there is like a bulb with like roots sort of coming out of this thing, and at the top of the bulb is a flower whose petals kind of curve outward, almost like a tiger lily, except you see them also curve back up and in as if like pointed, like almost like a trap. Like if you put your hand in this thing, it would sort of close around this thing, almost like a set of jaws. You pull this out, and you have this. Go ahead and roll me a d6 plus 3.
Antarius looks to make sure Seydlitz's arm doesn't fall off, because never be the first to stick your hand in a viscous fluid.
Okay. You see that the purple is quickly dripping off of his arm, leaving no residue, and you see him holding this strange flower. Level 5. Okay, cool.
Level 5 flower thing. Am I adding this to? Is this a Cypher by any chance?
It is actually an artifact. It is a level 5 artifact. There are 3 more bubbles, one in front of each of you and Cardboard Mina.
I thought there was just one.
Level 5.
Antarius
what's
will
it
reach
called?
into hers.
You don't know what it's called yet. You don't know anything about it. You have to roll to determine what it is. Antarius, you reach out. Again, your hand punctures this, and you pull something out, and you pull out what ostensibly to you, like at first glance, looks like a small satchel, like a clear satchel of seeds. And you see that you're holding like a it's amorphous, right? It's not like a circle. It's not like a ball. It's like this like wet, almost mucousy membrane. And you can roll it around, and it kind of changes shape. And inside of it, you see a bunch of what looks like seeds or clumps of dirt in there that are all not exactly uniform, but relatively similar in size.
Okay.
You have that. Roll me a d6 plus 3.
Mm-mm. 6.
Level 6. Corax, do you...
Corax is sitting there mad. He does not want to touch this thing.
You don't have to. You can refuse gifts. Mina always... Norm always accepts gifts and intrusions, so I'm going to say Mina picks it up as well. You would see Mina picks up... He picks up something strange. You see what he has picked up looks like a large what do you call it? Like a saucer-sized blue mushroom cap that sort of glows with bioluminescent light. And you see there's a word for them, like little fin things underneath a mushroom cap. You see those sort of like ruffle and move, and as he turns this over and sort of like pokes at that, a piece of it like pulls out, almost like a tissue out of a tissue box. And as he continues to pull, you see the inside of this begin to unravel into a cloak. And he's holding this mushroom cloak, this blue bioluminescent cloak.
Wow. They're called lamella or gills.
Gills, that's the word I was looking for. I was like, it's definitely not what I said. Fins, definitely not fins.
Frilly things.
Yeah, frilly things. It's definitely not that. Gills, the gills of a mushroom. The 4 mushrooms on the 4 lumivane on the other side of this thing begin to move back towards you. And you can tell that they are about to like be on either side of you and bring you somewhere else. So the closer they get, Korax, your window closes if you are interested in this, whatever it is.
Oh, Chris wants it, but Korax is mad. Unless someone makes him take it, he's gonna just stand there.
It's not the Heart of Gloom. I can promise you that. Unfortunately,
Someone stole that from me before.
Yeah.
Gave it to a snake god.
But what if it is the Heart of Gloom? You don't know until you reach into it.
That's true.
Yeah, he's just gonna stand there. He says absolutely nothing.
Okay. You all see Korax just staring at a globule in the this purple lake. And you notice that the 4 Lumavane are moving back around the lake towards the rest of you. I'll say that the first 2 on either side get to the edge of your group, and they are walking forward back up that main lane of this thing to sort of bring you on. Seydlitz and Thurs, do you guys say anything before you are whisked away?
Onward to new troubles. Hooray.
I don't know. It seems kind of empty. So she feels like she's like connected to this thing, right?
All of you are now, whether you just did it easily. The rest of them were
Yeah.
forced against their will to connect.
So she's not gonna say anything, but she's going to, I guess, try and like pass on the feeling, like I feel like she feels like saying sorry is kind of like not good enough, I guess. I don't know, like, how do you apologize for something like that? So she's just gonna, she hopes at least to pass on to the mother, like just like a feeling of like regret, I guess, remorse
Yeah.
for their part in what has happened.
Yeah. The interesting thing about thought form is that the difficulty in expressing thoughts, feelings, emotions, art is out of your mouth and body. If you can project the image you see or the feeling you feel in your mind as it is, and you don't have to apply the clunkiness of words to that feeling, and the other person can interpret your feelings, then that's fine. So you project the feeling you're feeling, and Korax, Seydlitz, Cardboard Mina, and everyone around, you know that there is a deep feeling of regret and remorse for whatever has transpired here coming from Antares. You know that the best summation of words you can apply to this is that Antares is saying sorry for whatever part you all have played in whatever is happening right now. But there aren't words for that. You just feel the same feeling. You acknowledge that it is coming from somewhere else, but you feel the same feeling that Antares feels in this moment. And you understand her sorrow and apology towards the Lumavane, towards the Fungal Throne, towards the Mother. You are all still intrinsically linked together. Your breath is still in sync. Your movements are somewhat in sync, and your thoughts are still in sync. The Lumavane begin to usher you away. And as they do so, the bubble begins to sink back in, and you watch as the pool slowly goes from violet back to gold. You watch as the rivulets above change from violet back to gold, and you feel the presence of the mother recede. And in doing so, there's that moment where, like, especially Antares, less so for Korax and Seydlitz, but there's a moment where like you know those moments in movies where like the male lead looks across the thing and sees the female lead, and all of a sudden his breath stops and he has to remember how to breathe. There's that moment where you no longer realized that you weren't breathing for yourself because the world was doing it for you. And as that goes away, there's, I think, a moment from each of you in at least some capacity that all of you kind of go, oh, and you realize that you have to breathe now. It's not being done for you. You have to instinctually breathe on your own. As the four of you are brought away towards the back of this cavern. Eventually, the road, if you can call it that, fades away in the village, and you are no longer in the village. You are headed towards the back wall of this cavern. The lights of the Lumavane village, these glowing pods, fade behind you, and you are walking towards darkness. What are you guys doing?
I think Terry's breath is a little bit more calm and controlled. And I think she just takes a deep breath and lets it out. And then glances back at the guys to make sure they're coming. And that they're okay.
As soon as Korax felt like he was controlling his own breathing, he pulled clothes up over his mouth and nose and sort of tried to make sure he was as covered as possible, and he is just stomping.
Grumpy boy.
Seydlitz sees what Korax is doing, and he just kind of just chuckles to himself, amused.
Grumpy old man Korax. Yeah, the four of you continue to be led through into the deeper and deeper into this cave. And you can see where as like a shape sort of looms before you, and you see that it was like sort of and again, there's the only light you have is sort of coming from behind you, and everything else in front of you is in darkness. But you can see like when you can see shadows in shadows, you can see there is a large shape that is sort of taking up, not like a large, like tall shape, but a large, long shape. It does tower above you all, but there is some sort of long shape that runs along the back of the cavern here. And as you get closer, even in the darkness, you begin to realize that there is a like thick wall of tangles and brambles and vines and just a force of flora here that is acting as its own like wall. And as the first of the Lumavane approaches, you see that there are two little like flowers that like buds that spread open, and you see that they glow like this blue green color. One, and the other one opens up. And you see that there are two pricks of light that illuminate the area, and you see these thick, like forearm thick vines, thorns wrapping around each other, forming this dense knot here. And as you approach,
the passage you seek lies here, but the guardian stirs. Be quick, be watchful, be safe, be well.
And the four Lumavane begin to depart, leaving you wrapped in shadows, facing a wall of vines with two little blue-green bioluminescent flowers.
I think she thinks back or says back, thank you for your assistance. And as she goes to step through the path, she says out loud, but more to herself, she's like, I knew we shouldn't have come here. And she steps through.
Seydlitz follows behind with a comment to and Terry's like, you could have said no.
You see her just like shake her head as she goes through.
I didn't ask for you all to come here. You volunteered.
Seydlitz, just don't. She walks through.
Sorry.
Ask me, Mina, and she pulls the cardboard through.
Thalos passes
The
her Mina.
stagehand quickly runs to keep up with the
Yeah.
group. Korax, you were the last one in, as has been your theme for the episode. What are you doing?
Korax doesn't even look back at the Lumavane. He just walks through.
Okay. You go ahead.
I was just saying, she waits for everyone to get through. When she gets to the other side, she will stop and wait and let everyone pass her, just to make sure everyone's accounted for. And then she'll say to Seydlitz, "It's not like you knew, so we didn't know.
Fair enough.
So hindsight is 20/20, but we shouldn't have come."
Well,
I've
we're
come-
already
I've come
this
for you.
far.
What?
Korax says, "I've come for Eve," and he walks past them.
She nods. Well, hopefully we'll find what we came here for, and then we can get the hell out.
Wait a minute. Who's Eve?
It's his sister. He doesn't answer if Seydlitz asked. He's just walked off.
That's Seydlitz says that in character. He's like, huh?
And Terrace would be like, "That's his sister."
Ah, I must have missed that I must have missed that part. Anyways, how far do you think we are from the steps?
Well, they did say to move fast, so let's go. Is it completely dark down here?
As you enter, yes. But as you begin to walk, more and more, like those flowers and fungus sort of open up and light up. As you pass through this area.
As they walk, I'm assuming Korax is in the lead now because he's stomping quickly.
Yep.
And she'd just be like, "What's wrong? You seem extra grumpy. We made it out of there."
I don't like when things take away my ability to breathe.
Yes, it was a
kinda
little
sucks.
disconcerting. Yes, I understand. It was disconcerting. It went a lot easier if you just went with the flow.
He just huffs.
Well, at least we learned some information. As per usual, our presence just makes things worse.
He says nothing.
She doesn't say anything either, and then
The air grows thicker, heavier, saturated with spores that swirl lazily in the dim light. The glowing fungal pathways of the Lumavane village fade behind you, replaced by narrow, winding tunnels of damp stone and tangled roots. Bioluminescent fungi pulse along the walls, their soft glow casting shadows that seem to stretch and move in the corner of your vision. The further you descend, the more unfamiliar the fungal growths become. Where once the spores hummed in harmony, now they shudder and twitch, reacting to your presence like living things. The ground becomes uneven, slick with creeping moss, and jagged with ancient petrified roots that jut from the walls like the ribs of some long-dead beast. As the tunnel narrows, the air changes again, no longer humid, but stagnant and dry, carrying the faint scent of decay and stone. The fungi here do not glow. Instead, they appear withered and brittle, Their color is faded to ashen grays and dull purples. The rhythmic hum of the Lumavane fades completely, replaced by an unnatural silence that presses against your ears like a held breath. And then the tunnel opens, revealing a cavern so vast that your eyes can barely scratch its edges. The air is thick, not with humidity, but with stillness. The oppressive weight of something ancient pressing down on your senses. The glow of the Lumavane's fungi does not reach this place. Instead, the cavern walls are lined with ashen, brittle growths, their colors leached away by time, their stalks unmoving and dead. And then you see it. At the heart of the cavern, half buried in the stone, fused with tangled fungal roots and fossilized tendrils, waits a colossal form. At first, it is indistinguishable from the cavern itself, just another ruin swallowed by the endless dark. Its body is humanoid, but impossibly massive and twisted. Its proportions warped by the slow decay of centuries. Its limbs are too long, too heavy, petrified fungal plates encrusting what should have been flesh, and its torso is fused with the cavern floor as though it has been left to wither into the stone itself. And then the sigil at its chest flares. A pulse of dim golden light flickers from beneath layers of hardened growth, illuminating the deep fractures that crisscross its form, like broken glass under pressure, waiting to shatter. The cavern shudders. The brittle fungal growths overhead tremble. Then with a deep, groaning exhale, something shifts. Roots begin to curl and snap. The sound is a chorus of cracking, tearing, splintering, like trees bending under an unbearable weight. At first it moves only slightly, one limb twitching, a clawed hand flexing, its fingers curling inward as though testing their own existence. And then the sigil flares again, and the Colossus rises. Its arms move first, ponderous and deliberate, shedding centuries of dust and petrified rot as they lift. The limbs tremble, straining against the weight of ages, but still it rises. Stones tumble from its back, crashing to the cavern floor. Its head tilts upward, and then its eyes open. There's nothing there. Only two hollow sockets, deep and endless, but still, somehow, they watch you. The sigil at its chest pulses again, and with it comes a low rhythmic sound, a deep, resonant thrum, like the heartbeat of something that should not live. The cavern responds, vibrating with the rhythm as though something else beyond you is listening. And then it steps forward. The cavern floor shakes with the impact, sending loose stones skidding towards your feet. The roots that once held its prisoner break completely, snapping apart in clouds of dust and spores. The stale, dry air of the cavern shifts, rolling outward like a wave as the spore-born colossus pulls itself free from the earth. For a moment, it simply stands there. A titan of fungal ruin. Half god, half monstrosity, bound by something darker than words. A relic of the past, stirring once more. Then its empty sockets turn towards you. The sigil flares brighter, and with a shuddering, earth-rattling step forward, the spore-born colossus moves. And that's where we end this episode of The Rise.
No, we still got time.
Did the three of you without Mina want to fight the giant spore-born colossus?
Why do we gotta fight it?
I had a feeling that we were gonna have to fight it. It's like we're fighting this thing.
I don't want to fight it.
Well, it's not a good
Just so
guy.
you know. It's the mother's fault.
Why would the fungal mother offer us passage and then try to kill us?
It's exactly
It's
what
not.
she did.
They told you
It's
the
exactly what
Guardian
she
is
did.
waking up.
Oh.
They
She
told you
said-
several times the Guardian stirs.
And they said, here, this is the road to him, not the safe passage that we know about. Go and walk to the guy's going to smush you.
I mean,
Fuck those mushrooms.
what is the third floor called?
The fungal throne.
No, that's the second floor.
The steps of
Steps of
the
the
Colossus.
Colossus.
Steps of the Colossus.
The steps of the
right.
Colossus. He's not guarding the fungal throne. He's guarding the steps of the Colossus. He's not their guardian. The roots bound it in place. But the roots are dead and brittle. It's breaking free of its prison.
Great.
G, if you want, I have some big old stats for this guy. If you think the three of you, if you think,
I don't want to fight it.
I think we're going to have to fight it, G. And yes,
How?
I'd rather have the defensive person here.
you can
Mike's
absolutely
gonna
fight
tell
it.
us how. Mike's gonna tell us how to get around him. Don't worry, it's fun.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep. We'll ask lots of questions, Mike, and then you'll go.
I assure
getting random.
you, I assure you that my notes in scene 3, the price of passage, say a fight. The fungal guardian.
Eye for
tests them.
detail. I'm just gonna run around the room for 5 minutes and explore the area, so I can ask the GM one question that he must answer.
You're just gonna run for 5 minutes. That'll be so many turns of combat.
I know.
Yeah, 100%. So a little bit shorter of an episode. I wasn't sure how much roleplay there would be versus this combat, and this combat is easily going to take more than the time we have, for sure. So that's how we'll start episode 49, is with this big old combat. Sorry, G, I know you want to talk to the giant stone monster, but...
No, I don't want to talk to it. I just want to avoid it.
Oh, you just want to run away from the giant stone monster?
I just want to
Um,
talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I assure you, there's a giant stone monster. Listen, you avoided a giant snake monster, okay? You avoided fighting dinosaurs. You avoided fighting snake people. You avoided fighting the giant snake god you woke up. So now...
Sounds like great PC planning on our part.
So now there is a giant stone colossus that is inescapable.
Yes, we
that
definitely
there's
want
no-
our offensive guy here.
Yeah, you're big,
Maybe.
strong, the warrior of the group. So,
Yeah.
Um,
I'm the defensive one.
yeah, that's true. He's just unhittable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is where we're going to wrap this session, episode 48, The Mother's Call. See, and you thought it was going to be about your mom, your own mommy issues.
I had to my
But no, it
I'd
was
rather
just about
take
the,
little mommy roll than this.
Yeah, it's just about the mother. And just so I'm not going to save this for the after show. I'm going to put this out right here. Hold on, let me go back to my notes. Just so we're clear, now that it's gone, a level 1d6 plus 4 artifact called Echo of the Mother for Corax. It is a small, vibrating cluster of spores contained inside a glass-like amber shell. And when it is, this one is a Cypher. Actually, I think they might all be Cyphers, and I'm just a dumbass. I'll have to go back and look. When it is shattered, the spores spread and temporarily link the user's mind to echoes of the past. And you can ask one answerable question about the history of a location or object, and the mother will answer with a brief vision. So you get a direct answer from the GM about a historical object, location, event that you can see as if you were there. And not anymore, because you don't like gifts from weird swamp people. So...
Chris wanted it. Corax didn't.
Well, Corax, visions of the past, not for you. Yeah. Let me see here. I think, the one for Seydlitz is a Cypher as well. And the one for... Where are you? The one for
Cyphers were
Antares...
single use.
Yeah, Cypher's a single use.
Said
The
it was
one...
an artifact.
I was wrong. I misread it. Is it's a Cypher for you and a Cypher for Antares as well.
A viscous sack of seeds.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the cipher called?
You don't know yet. So the number I
I'm
had
just
you
gonna label
roll,
it flower then.
the 1d6 plus whatever you had to roll, that is its level, and that's what you roll against. So it's an intelligence check versus that level difficulty. So if you rolled a level 6 on that, it's a level 6 difficulty. Yeah. Oh no,
Actually reminds me, I've got 2 ciphers and I have no idea what they do.
I'm sorry. They are artifacts, and I'm a dumbass.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry. Sorry. My notes are hastily done for artifacts, mostly just chicken scratch. All right, that being said, thank you all for watching this episode. Again, episode 48, The Mother's Call. That's it from us. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is like these fine folks here over on our Patreon, link in the description down below. While you're down there, clicking on that link and joining us on the description in the Patreon. Join us in the Discord. Be a part of the community. Be a part of the conversation. With that, let's do our outroductions so we can get the hell out of here and do our after show, which you can get this after show and all other after shows over on said Patreon. We'll start off our outros with Korax the Giftless. Chris, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm Chris aka Necro. You can find me here in the Rise in Atari Twilight Age of Always, which we will be rescheduling, and the Patreon one-shots, and other than that, only the Discord.
Hell yeah. Jumping over to one who breathes with the universe. G, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
Hello, I'm the friendly neighborhood lightning invoker. Like Chris said, you'll find me at the one shots next weekend. For all things Patreon, essentially, and also next Sunday is Mundus Novus, and then Age of Always, which is not Patreon, when we figure out a rescheduled date for that. And you could find me modding during the week and in the Discord and on Blue Sky.
Hell yeah.
Even though I hardly remember to go on there.
Me too. I gotta get better at it. And over to Matt, the least grumpy character, not the least, but not the most grumpy character this session. That also goes to Korax. So Matt, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? And what are you up to?
I'm Matt or D. You'll find me here in the Patreon campaign and the Patreon one shots. And Chris just popped a thing in chat here. Do we have a space to fill for the one shot tier?
We have 2 spaces.
2 spaces?
Yep.
What are you doing, audience? Phil, come on, get in here and join us.
That's true. You can be a part of Glenbrook, be part of Alien. When we go back to
None of
Alien,
those are campaigns, but they're really campaigns.
No,
Yeah,
there's
they
no,
basically
there's
are.
no. They're all one shots.
I think we should just start doing little campaigns, honestly.
I bet you would think that. I bet you would.
Yeah.
Their campaigns
I
are just on
honestly
one
think-
episode at a time.
Yeah, I would just make it a lot more easier. Then we don't have to be like, what are we playing this month? You know, we could just be like, oh, this is what we're playing.
You know what? I'm just gonna make a West Marches world, and that's all we're gonna play is just West Marches. Nothing
Is
else.
West March is a text-based thing, though?
No, it's not. No, it's.
I think we should do a Glenbrook one.
All right, well, Matt or D, you find me here in the Patreon campaign, Patreon one-shots, and on Mike's Discord.
Yes.
Where
Come over.
I will lurk for the most part, unless you start talking about video games, then I will come out of my dark, shadowy hidey hole
That's true.
to critique your choices and call your choices bad.
Join us on the Discord. Join us on the Patreon. Join us at the one-shot tier, and come out and hang out, play some games, roll some dice with us. But that's it from us. So from all of us to you guys, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah.